Hey, kia ora, Helen Browns here, coming to you live from San Diego, California. Hope you're having a super fantastic, sparkling day. Welcome to Before the Dirt Nap podcast number 1855 road trip. Yes, I'm traveled from where did I come from? I traveled. Jeepers. Traveled from Surprise, Arizona to San Diego today and had a great road trip. I'm out here in San Diego. I get to babysit my three oldest grandsons this weekend, and left at wanted to leave between 6 and 7 this morning, and ended up leaving at 7:05, and heading out this way. And it was a very good drive out. It was nice temperatures when we left. Got cooler as we got closer to my destination, and I looked at the high today in back home in Arizona was 107 degrees Fahrenheit or 43 degrees Celsius. Here in San Diego, it was 73 degrees Fahrenheit or 23 degrees centigrade. Big difference, and no humidity in either place, so that was good. Last night I got the car serviced on the way home from dropping Zephyr. I've got the car serviced. They said that they had. I went to Jiffy Lube. Now they have this thing where they check the tires, the tire pressure. They change the oil and the oil filter. They check all your fluids and everything else, and top up your window washing fluid. That was the one, window washing fluid. Sorry, I'm a little on the tired side right now. And but what was interesting is that I'm driving along, this bug goes splat onto my windscreen. And now I had it planned that this morning I was going to leave home around 6, go to Walmart, which was close to where we are, to pick up a couple of bits and pieces that I needed, and then get gas and then get on the road. Yeah, that didn't work. So I left at 7:05, and I have this app. What's it called? Shoot, my phone's over there. I have this app on my phone that tells you which gas stations you can go to, and you get a rebate on what you spend on your gas. And so this one, it was at the Circle K, and it was on the road to where we were going, and it's going to rebate me 32 cents a gallon. Pretty cool, huh? And then with the rebates and stuff, you can turn them into gift cards and get gift cards for all sorts of different retailers and things. And so I thought, I'll sign up for that program. And if you spend money in there, and for the Circle K, if you also spend money in their shop. Cheapest. Why is everything convenience store? If you spend money in their convenience store, it's a 13% rebate up to $10. And I thought, well, that's not too bad, getting necessities and getting rebated for it. I love this program already. So we gave that a try today, and then we got on, and so did that, got on the road. And of course, I stop at just about every rest area. When I'm driving by myself, this is one thing I love road trips. I love all the things that you can see. You get to see some crazy stuff on the roads. You might get to see some really cool creatures around when you're in parking areas and things. But all sorts of fun stuff. And the brain can go a little creative if you wanted to, and all that sort of cool stuff. So I love road trips. The only thing I don't like about road trips when I'm by myself is I'm the one doing all the driving, and I have nobody to share it with. And so when it comes to driving, even though the map thing may say it's like 4.5 to 5 hours to where I've come from home to here, it takes me 7 hours because I stop often, get out, I stretch, have a bite to eat, make sure my water bottle was filled. I think I filled it. I have two 64-ounce insulated containers of water sitting in the car in stainless steel. And this morning I filled them up with, half filled them with ice, and then put the rest of them in water so the water would stay cold all day. And I think I'm over halfway through on one of those bottles. I know that it's in the bathroom. looking around, thinking, where's my 40-ounce cup? I had this big block of ice in the middle. It's really cool when you put the ice from the ice maker in there. It tends to stick the ice together. So you end up with a block of ice in the middle, so it stays colder longer. Little tip. And so I kept drinking all the water down and just running into ice at the end. So every time I stopped at a rest area, I was topping it back up again. So that was kind of cool. Yeah, didn't see much in rest areas, although I did have one rest area, and because they're doing all this on roadworks, I have to tell you about the roadworks. So while still in Arizona, getting close to California, we come across the first sign that says roadworks for the next 9 miles. I'm like, okay, it's moved from where it was last time. That's fine. So I'm driving along this 9 miles. We get to the end of the 9 miles. It goes, roadworks ended. Thank you. The little sign at the end, and get a few yards down the road, and it's got roadworks for the next 12 miles. And I'm like, I just finished 9. Why can't you just join them together and call them 21? So I thought, okay. So we get to the end of that, and the traffic's flowing beautifully. Traffic is flowing beautifully. Get to the end of the 12 miles, and it says, roadworks ended. Yay, get a few feet down the road, a few yards down the road. Roadworks for the next 23 miles. I'm like, what the heck? By which stage we are now in California. No, hang on. The 12 miles in, 23. Yeah, that was before we got into California. That was all before we got into California. And then we get onto, and then we, in that 23 miles of roadworks, I think there's like maybe 2 to 3 miles within Arizona that were not roadworks. Then we go through the inspection center there in California, just as you come across the Colorado River, and basically straight into roadworks for 23 miles. I'm like, just can't win. So we're driving along. We get a little bit of traffic in and around Indio, and I get off at Indio to go to the Walmart that's there. Got what I needed to get. And so while sitting in the parking lot, I had lunch. I figured might as well have it now. It was 12 o'clock, so I figured I'll have lunch while I'm sitting here. So I had lunch in the parking lot at Indio at the Walmart, slightly in the shade because my parking area was slightly in the shade. And then we left there and got back on the road again and hit traffic. And that lasted till we got to Cathedral City, and then there was no more traffic for a bit, and it was free flowing. It flowed beautifully and everything else. Then we get into this area where there's, and we're getting close to the 60 because I turn off the 60, go onto the 215, down to the 15 to get here. And I would go across the 8 and then come up the 15. The only problem with going that route is the later in the day you get, the heavier the traffic traveling north. And I was thinking, it's the Thursday before Labor Day weekend. How many people are going to leave on Thursday instead of Friday to avoid the Friday rush? Plus, it was also the first week back for schools as well. So, I tend to come, if I'm coming into San Diego, and I come the 10 down to the 60, the 215 to the 15 to get into San Diego rather than going the 8, which I actually love the 8, driving along the 8. It's gorgeous scenery, and there's not as much traffic on there. It's very traffic free. So I definitely prefer driving the 8. It's just that 15 stretch, getting stuck in traffic. I don't do traffic very well. So we get past that part of the traffic, get back into the free flowing stuff. And then I'm driving along, and I'm in the left. I just overtake. There was a truck in the right lane, a truck in the middle lane. I was in the left lane. There's a overtaking a truck. There's a car on my bumper. Almost. It feels like I'm being tailgated. I'm being tailgated. Is that the right one? Anyway, it feels like this guy's like right in he wants to get in the back seat. Is how it feels. And so as soon as I clear the truck, I turn my right indicator on and start moving across. As I am moving across, he flicks his right indicator on and he starts moving in behind me into the middle lane. And I'm like, what the friggin' heck? There's like, beside the truck that's now behind us, there's nothing in the right lane, nothing in the right lane, nothing in the left lane, just us two in the middle lane. And I'm like, what? And then he goes, so we're like this for a little bit, and then he suddenly moves into the right lane, overtakes me on the inside, gets back into the middle lane and over to the left lane. And I'm like, what was the point of that? I sometimes wonder what drivers are thinking when they do weird stuff like this. But that was, And then it's just like, we were going on the 215. And the 215 has a lot of on-ramp areas. No, the 60 has a lot of on-ramp areas. So I tend to stay not in the right lane. I tend to get in the middle lane so I don't have to keep moving over to let them in. And but it just amazed me just watching these people. I actually did end up getting stuck in the right lane at one point, going past a couple of on-ramp areas. And these cars, and I'm just right driving along, these cars just like move in. Like there's no gap. And they just move in, which means I've got to hit the brake to let them in. There's no turn signal, no nothing. They just basically, we're coming on, you give way to us type of thing. I'm like, the arrogance of some people. Huh. But for the most part, it was good. And then we got to the 215. There was a couple of tied up areas on the 215, and then it just started flowing smoothly. Got onto the 15, no problems. Had a little bit of a snarl up around Temecula, got past that, put the thing into cruise control for going through the hills, and just moved through the hills beautifully till it was time for me to turn off and get here. And I got here at 2:25, I think it was. So it was 7 hours and 20 minutes from when I left to when I arrived. So had a quick catch up with everybody, and then the youngest one had what did he have? He had to go. He had some appointment thing he had to go to. So my oldest and I got in the car, went and picked him up from preschool. He's now in a different class, which means that the really cool teacher who loves to read, her and I would always talk books when I would drop him off in the morning. She's no longer his teacher, and I'm like, damn it. And he doesn't have preschool tomorrow because the preschool's closed tomorrow. And I was like, but we do drop him off in the morning with her, and then he gets moved to his new class. And they had an ice cream social today. And so I was trying to find out what flavor ice cream he had. And he wouldn't tell me. I go, it was a bubblegum flavor with unicorn sprinkles. And he was just sort of like, with this big smile on his face. So later on, something came up about ice cream, and so we asked him what ice cream, and he goes, bubble gum. I just start laughing. But got back home, got to see I've got to drop the oldest one off at baseball practice tomorrow. And but yeah, it's already keying up. We already had story time this evening. I love story time. So I got to do story time this evening, which is really cool. And the kids are now all in bed. Everybody's in bed. And so I'm just going to chillax. I'm going to read some more of The Housemaid, since I have to get it finished before next weekend, because that's when we have our book discussion for next weekend. So feel free to scan the QR code up here. Scan the QR code, come join the book club, grab yourself a copy of this and get it read before next Saturday, because we're going to be having a live discussion on Zoom for this particular book, and we'll be revealing what the next book is going to be. The next book is awesome. And I will admit I have already read the next book, but it's been such a long time since I have read it. And I happened to see a girl walking down the street one day when I was out walking Zephy. We just left the house to go to walk Zephy, and she walks past and she's reading this particular book that's going to be our book for October, and the one we read in September and discuss in October. And I said to her, "Oh, that is a really good book." She goes, "Yes, it is." She says, "I'm up to this particular," and I go, "Oh." I says, "Keep an eye out." I said, "There's a sequel to that book." And she's like, "Really?" I says, "Yes." She says, "Oh, do you remember what it's called?" I says, "No, but it's got the name in it. That particular name is in the title of the sequel." She says, "I'm going to look that one up." And she carried on reading, and as she walked away. So it's been a long time since I've actually walked down the street reading a book, like a physical book in my hand. And I thought, man, I used to do that all the time as a kid. Just walk down the street with my nose stuck in a book as I'm walking, but I'm fully aware of the traffic around me. I'm aware of when I have to cross roads and everything else, but I'm reading as I'm walking. And I thought, I haven't seen that done in years. I haven't done it in years. But it just brought back a lot of memories of all the books I consumed while walking. Yeah, and that was actually opening the book and reading it while walking. Yes, there are people that still do that, apparently, because I saw one. And so, yeah, I was excited to see her reading that book. So that was pretty cool. So I'm off to read some more of this, which is turning out to be a really good book. So we're going to have a good discussion about this a week from Saturday. So Saturday the 7th. Saturday the 7th at 9 a.m. We're going to be discussing this book live on Zoom. So if you want to come and join us, scan the QR code up in the top corner up here and come join the group and pick yourself up a copy of this electronically, physically, Audible. Audible's considered reading as well. Audible books considered reading too. And come join us for the book discussion on the September the 7th. And you can find out all the details by scanning the code up there and joining the group. And or you can go to Eventbrite. We also have it on Eventbrite as well. We've got some people replying from that too. So looking forward to that discussion. So anyway, that's it from me. I don't know what time I will be on tomorrow night. My next few nights are all dependent on once the kids are in bed, because we've got to get through bath time, story time, winding down time, all of that sort of stuff, which is awesome. I love those times. I got to read 2 stories tonight. I got to read one which was the construction of the younger of the 3 boys, the construction of his full name, so first name, middle name, last name, using all of these almost like Richard Scarry. If you ever Richard Scarry books and the cartoons he draws in there, they're almost like those types of illustrations in there about how they constructed the name and how they got the letters all in one place to then put it up on the board and spell the name out, which was kind of cool. And then got to read Madeline, and I haven't read Madeline in eons. It's been eons, and I used to have a copy of Madeline, and so it was really cool to read that about the 12 girls that walked in 2 straight lines, and then Madeline had appendicitis, and then the other 11 decided they wanted to have it too because they wanted a cool scar like Madeline had. So anyway, so I got to read 2 stories tonight, and we sat in here on the bed. Usually we're upstairs on the sectional upstairs, but we're down here on my bed with the 3 boys and the dog, and just sitting here just reading, and it was a fun time. I enjoyed it. So looking forward to having story time every night for the next few nights, and then after that's done and the kids have got their teeth brushed and they're now in bed, and then I can come down here, do my live. So around 8-ish Pacific time is when we're going to be coming live. But it'll be about what are we going to do this weekend with the boys? I don't know. I know one of them has baseball practice tomorrow night, and I know where to take them for that. But apart from that, we are wide open on what we're going to do. Maybe we'll do like a staycation type thing in San Diego. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. Thought of some places I'd like to go, but we'll figure out some fun stuff. Maybe we'll go see what's on this weekend, and maybe we can go into like one of the parks or something, and if they've got some fun activities and things on this weekend. I wonder if there's a fair on this weekend. We could take them to the fair. Hornells. Anyway, that's it. I'm out of here. Go out, have a super fantastic, sparkling evening. I'm going to go read for a bit before I fall asleep. And we'll catch you guys back here tomorrow evening around 8 p.m. Pacific. Hai konera.